Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here with the Reflection book tag. Also, as you can probably tell, I am actually able to film in front of my books again, which is very exciting. I'm very, very happy about this. And like I said, today we are doing the Reflection book tag. This tag was created by Everything L, and I was tagged by Brody at @2Brody, so thank you for that. I will link both of their original videos down below. And this tag is about looking back at our 2020 reading and channel. So let's get into the questions. Number one is, did you reach any bookish goals? And I did hit my Goodreads goal, which was 100 books. I'm really happy about that. I had read about 200 books this year. And then as far as my others, I actually just filmed my 2020 goal check-in / 2021 goals. That'll be going up very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But just very briefly, yes and no. I didn't complete my retelling bingo and reading women checklist, although I did read quite a few books off those lists, but I kind of knew I wasn't going to do those. About partway through the year, I just decided not to put that pressure on myself. Like, if I got to them, great, but if I didn't, that was okay, because the vast majority, if not all of those books, are still ones that I am really excited about getting to, so I'm going to read them at some point. And then as far as my other goals, again, you'll see more in that video, but I actually did better at making progress on those than I thought. For example, I read some borrowed books that were not from the library that I had been meaning to read. I did film a few more casual videos, which was something I wanted to do. I also wanted to catch up on tags, which I did a few, not as many as I wanted to. So it was kind of a mixed bag. Again, you'll see more in that video, but I think I did reasonably well considering what a real hard year 2020 was for everybody. Number two is to shout out a bookish person or people that you felt really supported by. So I'm really sorry for people who hate these wishy-washy answers, because I can't really narrow it down. I have felt so lucky throughout this, again, very difficult year to be supported by this community and to have so many close friends from this community. And I really, I can't name specific people because there have been so many. I have been so lucky. Like, everybody who I have collaborated on projects with, who I have talked to or messaged, who I have interacted in comments with, whose content I have enjoyed, just if I have interacted with you in any capacity this year, I am so grateful for it. I really do feel so lucky for this community, and I don't think I would have been able to make it through this year as well as I did if I didn't have such a strong support system. So I'm sorry I'm not going to give a specific answer for this one, but I truly mean it when I say that if we have interacted in any capacity this year, I'm grateful for you. And you guys are so important to me, and I'm gonna get very mushy about it, but truly I feel so lucky for all of you in this community. Number three is, what's been your favorite video that you've uploaded? And I picked two for this. One of them is a pretty recent one, and that is the Lucy Worsley book tag that I created. I put that up just a few months ago for my 3-year BookTube anniversary, which is just wild to think about the fact that I have been on this platform for 3 years. But I had so much fun doing that, and that was a purely passion project. I was celebrating being here for 3 years by doing something that I love and was interested in, and I even said in that video, I'm not sure how much other people are gonna care about this, but I really enjoyed it, and the response was great, and it was just, I really enjoyed doing that one. And I'm pretty proud of the questions, even if they are very long. I'm sorry about that for anyone who did that tag. And then the other video I wanted to mention is my middle grade kind of starter kit almost. It was a recommendations video where I talked about specific reasons people might have for not thinking that middle grade books are for them, and I kind of gave some recommendations to combat those. I'm really proud of that. It's quite a long video, but it was a lot of work to put it together, but I think it came out really well. I had really great response for that one as well, and yeah, I am really proud of that. Obviously, middle grade is something I'm very passionate about. I am very, very much of the belief that you can never be too old for a good book. I think that middle grade has so much to offer the world and readers in general, and that you don't have to be in the target age range to get something out of a book or to really love a book. And there are many middle grade books that I did not really feel like I saw them or enjoyed them to their full potential until I was older. Which is not to say that middle grade for middle grade readers alone is unimportant, because obviously it is very important, but I do think it's noteworthy that there have been several where I read them at the target age range and enjoyed them, and then later I revisited them and realized that there were so many more layers than I picked up on. Number four is to name a video that didn't do as well as you thought it would. And I feel like views in general have been a little discouragingly low for me recently, and I also don't want to complain too much, because even though in the scheme of things I'm still a very, very small creator, I don't want to act like I'm not grateful for the subscribers or the interaction that I have. I was absolutely thrilled and shocked when I got to 1,000 subscribers. That was pretty amazing, so I don't want to come off as ungrateful. But I have been noticing that general view counts have been a lot lower lately, which is kind of discouraging because, again, we put in so much work to this content and it doesn't always reciprocate. I am glad though that Ashley from Bookish Realm mentioned that at least during the month of December, that some of that is to be expected because a lot of people are doing Vlogmas, so they don't have as much time to watch other people's content. So I'm hoping that's part of the reason. But the specific videos I kind of wanted to mention are my wrap-ups, and like, I understand I do very long wrap-ups and I'm very sorry about that. I'm always trying to get better, but I just end up with a lot of things to say about the books that I read, and I do read quite a few books a month, and I recently switched to doing 2 wrap-ups per month, so I would split them up because it was just getting to be so overwhelming to film that or to even edit that all together into one video, because for a while I was filming it in different parts and just posting it together, but even that got to be like just way too much to take on. And whenever I would run polls of like asking people what they preferred, a lot of people said they preferred watching one long video. So I kind of knew going in that maybe switching to 2 parts a month would mean lower views, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. So yeah, that's kind of discouraging because wrap-ups are definitely the videos that take the most work. Obviously reading the books, but also preparing any notes, obviously filming them, editing them takes a very long time, captions takes a very long time, especially if YouTube's auto caption feature decides to not work the way it's supposed to. I feel like this is sounding like a lot of complaining. I do enjoy doing wrap-ups. Like I've said before, they're my favorite videos to watch. I think they're really important. They're just like one of the like core elements of BookTube. So I think they're really, really important. And I don't want to stop doing them. I'm never going to stop doing them. But it's kind of discouraging to put so much work into such an important kind of baseline BookTube content where you think like, well, I hope that if somebody watches my channel, then that means they watch my wrap-ups. It's disheartening to put so much work into those and to see that not a lot of people compared to subscribers are watching those. So that's kind of my answer. It's just wrap-ups in general, I feel like have not been doing as well as I would like lately, and I was actually hoping that since they are shorter, now that I'm splitting them up, I was thinking maybe more people would watch them, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Like just the number of views I was getting like earlier in the year on wrap-ups versus right now, the difference is like not great to see. But on the more positive side, I really want to take this opportunity to thank all of you guys who do watch my wrap-ups, who like, who comment. I just feel very, very lucky to have such thoughtful and interactive commenters. I really, really appreciate that. I've seen people I watched before talk about how it's a real struggle getting people who watch their channel to leave comments at all or to like interact with the content in some way, and I feel so lucky for not having to worry about that. So even with all of my complaining about how my wrap-ups views have been doing, I want to be clear that I really, really appreciate all you guys who watch those and who watch my content in general. Sorry, that was such a long answer for that one. Number 5 is, what did you really struggle with on your channel? So besides the view count thing I mentioned, which I also think I just have been struggling with caring about that too much, because I have pretty much like, I still occasionally think about subscriber count. I'm not going to pretend I don't, but I don't usually worry about that too much. Like I've kind of gotten to a place I'm really happy with. Obviously, I think most people would like to grow a little bit, at least, but I'm really happy with where I am. And again, I feel so lucky for the people I have following my channel. So that's not something that I worry about too much, but I do think I've been paying more attention to view counts lately than is healthy. And then I should. So that's one thing that I have struggled with this year, is like I just don't want to be that focused on it, you know? And then the other thing is getting behind on content. I am still quite behind on my wrap-ups. Those are coming. I have filmed a lot of them, and I just need to work on editing and captioning, and of course filming the others, but those are coming, never fear. Yeah, but that was definitely something that this year is there were several times where I either couldn't film or I just didn't feel up to filming, and I just didn't. And I have realized that if I get even a little bit behind, it becomes very, very difficult to catch up with things like wrap-ups or things like that. I personally think that wrap-ups are good, like even after they're very current, because you know, when I watch people's videos, I am still interested in what they thought about a book, even if they read it like a couple months ago, you know? So hopefully you guys are still interested in seeing those wrap-ups when I eventually catch up and get them all posted. But yeah, so those were the 2 things that I feel like I've struggled with, is worrying about view count too much and just getting behind in filming videos, particularly wrap-ups. Number 6, what are some things you want to improve? I want to put less pressure on myself, just in general. You'll see when I do my 2021 reading goals that a lot of if not all of the goals, involve putting less reading pressure on myself and just reading things that I'm excited about reading. And then another thing that I give more detail about in that video is I want to do my creative video ideas sooner, because I think there's always going to be like some more time sensitive video that I'm worried about getting up in time, and I've just realized that I need to film the creative stuff anyway because I love doing the standard content as well, but I think that I need to do better about mixing in the more unusual or creative content as well, because I have no shortage of ideas, and I have posted some creative videos already, but I just want to do more of those sooner. And finally, question number 7 is, what do you want your viewers to know? So besides what I already mentioned, which is that I am going to catch up eventually, those wrap-ups and reviews that I mentioned and everything are definitely coming. I also just want to cover some general things about my channel that I don't always remember to mention specifically. One of them is that I always add captions to all of my videos. I think that is something that is really, really important to do, and I do that on all of my videos. I also want to mention that in my wrap-ups, I always include content warnings in the description box. It's right at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down, I include all the content warnings for the videos, for the books that I talk about, at least all the ones that I can think of and remember. And I put that at the bottom of the description box so that if you don't want to know those and you're worried about those things spoiling aspects of the book, you don't have to read those, but if you do want to look at those, then you can. I also include this in my separate review videos, and I'm trying to be better about remembering to do that in things like recommendations videos and other things like that. So I'm trying to add content warnings to more of my videos, but they will always be in my wrap-ups and in my standalone reviews as well. And finally, I just want to remind everyone to check the description box. Not only will there be relevant content warnings, but I also always link all of the booktubers or videos that I mention. Even if I don't mention in the video, link in the description, I always link those. So please check that out for the people or links or channels or videos that I mention. And also in the description box, at the very top of the description, I include some resources, some information on current events in the world, ways that you can get involved and donate, and I do try to keep those updated periodically. So be sure to check that out for resources and links and things like that. Although obviously there are lots of other places that you can and should be getting those, but I do put those in my description, and again, I try to keep those updated periodically. Okay, everybody, so that was the reflection book tag. Thank you again, Brody, for tagging me. This was a really interesting look back at the year, and I really liked these questions. I think there's a good mix of congratulating yourselves on doing things well and also acknowledging some things that are hard about creating content. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this. I don't have anyone specific to tag because I think this is actually going up on New Year's Eve, so not much time to do this before the next year. But if you would like to do this, I definitely tag you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!